But that was certainly interesting. And I think today this is going to be equally interesting. Good morning, Keith.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. So you've seen Keith around, and he has volunteered for several things. Maybe he wished he hadn't, but he volunteered. Now he's stuck with it. So he serves as the platform leader some Sundays and does a great job of it, I might say. And then he and his wife Jennifer also attended the foundations class that we taught a couple of months ago. And so we got to know each other better. Keith and Jennifer had been away for some time. They used to come to church several years ago, and I think they were here when we first opened in this building. Is that right, Jennifer? Or I can't remember what year it was. They moved away, but I'm going to let him tell it. I'm going to allow him to tell us about that instead of my blabbing on and on. Okay, Keith, tell us a little bit about your early life. Where were you born and where did you live?
Well, I grew up in Vernon, Alabama. I had a wonderful family in a small town. We were part of a very fundamental denomination, and that preacher would say, "You may not make it home today before the judgment day." And I was a little kid, and I would go home and be afraid to go to sleep, and I really struggled in my young years with religion, and was really burdened by that. There was a lot of fear in that, and a lot of hell talk, but other than that, had a pretty happy, normal, small town growing up.
When did you move here to Mississippi first time?
Interesting story. I went to college to be a financial advisor, and got a job out of school with American Express in Birmingham, and went through the licensing and everything. And the day finally came to talk to people, and I had some drinking issues, and I didn't feel like I could talk to people without drinking, so I went to lunch and never went back. And
oh, thank you.
Spent probably the next 15 years and really struggling with alcoholism and addiction issues. I walked up in a treatment center in Columbus, Mississippi at 30 years old with everything I owned in the world in a Dollar General bag. And that was in Columbus, Mississippi, and that's how I got there. And I started healing some old wounds and got some help, and started trying to live by spiritual principles and deprogramming from my old concept of God, and got in 12-step recovery, and life got pretty good. And met my lovely wife and all that. I got into Richard Rohr and some Eckhart Tolle, the power, some new things, and I wanted to learn A Course in Miracles, and it was very challenging to get into. And I remember Googling a study group at a Unity church in Birmingham, and that's how I got curious about unity. So my wife and I came down to Biloxi for a convention of some sort, and we thought the Beach Boulevard was the most beautiful place, and we just loved it down here, and kind of dreamed about moving down here one day. And it wasn't 2 weeks later she got a job offer down here. and it was just like it fell into and we came down here and we're so happy, and just decided to make our home and our lives here.
Oh, I love that. Well, tell me something. You said that you started to drink. It was to give yourself courage and confidence? Is that what you...
A lot of it, and a lot of relief from emotional pain and trauma and things like that. It worked really well for everything that ailed me at that time. At that time, you know. Asked me 15 years later, it was not a good plan.
A great solution at the time, huh?
Yeah.
Or it seemed like it.
Yes.
Okay, interesting, interesting. So, and you and Jennifer lived here, you lived in Ocean Springs for a while?
We did, maybe 5 years over there, 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we were driving over here to church, and we loved it. And that's when COVID happened.
Right.
During that time, my wife got extremely ill, and we were told that she probably wasn't going to live long. And I became very angry at the medical system and depressed. And you wait 3 months for an appointment with a specialist and get to talk to them for 5 minutes and get a bill for thousands of dollars and
Right.
got nowhere. And it was like every day was like crawling through the desert on broken glass. It was just so hard. I couldn't take a deep breath. And through all of that, we wound up back up in Columbus, kind of living with relatives, and I was very angry and depressed and not in a good place mentally and spiritually, and we just longed for home. We just longed to be home again. And I remember at some point just thinking, God, if we could just get back to unity. If we could just get back to unity. And maybe there was a prayer there that was answered. I know it was. I picked up the phone and called a friend down here that I thought might could help me. And we made a weekend and made a few weekends, came and looked at houses and never could find the right one. And like one day, the end of a long day, just rode by one, and it just happened to have everything on our checklist. And I got Google Maps and typed in Unity, and it was 7 miles from Unity. And it was just, this is home. We're home, you know?
Oh, I love that.
And
I love that. That's powerful. And we're so glad to have you both here. And of course, for me, I pretty much get to know everyone once they come here for a while, and they're my friends. And so when I saw you and Jennifer come in the door again, I was just so excited, just ecstatic to see my friends here. And then when I knew you'd moved back, I was really excited about it. Now, is she, how's her health now that she would allow you to say?
We're on a healing journey, and then life is 1,000 times better than it has
Oh,
been.
good. Good.
Yeah, we're good. We have 2 dogs, beautiful dogs, and a beautiful home, and we're just so grateful to be a part of. When we first started coming back, I'm kind of introverted, and I was so determined to be a part of the Unity family. I would tell Jen, all right, we're going to introduce ourselves to 3 people today. And we would do that every Sunday. And did you get your 3? Yeah, I got my 3. and it's just been, we just love this family of people so much, and we love seeing y'all every day. And through all of this we went through, we never got to get married, and we always had to put it off, and we finally had this romantic place that was very sentimental out on Henderson Point. And we were going to get married right around Christmas. And I evidently didn't communicate well with the guy, and he set up at the hamburger place in Pass Christian. So we got married at the hamburger joint in Pass Christian, and but I was looking at pictures of Jeff Bezos rented Italy for his wedding, and I thought, man, I'll take mine over that any day.
Yeah. Hamburger joint. Well, did you have a good hamburger?
We had the most beautiful wedding, most beautiful day of our lives, and yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so excited to hear that. And your job, you're happy with your work?
I'm happy with my work most days. It is really hot.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
But yeah, I've got a good life, and I just practice gratitude every day, because I wouldn't trade places with anybody. We love our lives, and we love y'all and being a part of.
I just love hearing that.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Did you tell me a little bit more about how you came out, though, of the fundamentalist church environment? What did it take for you to decide that that wasn't the truth for you?
I started watching Richard Rohr on YouTube just by chance, and I remember one time he said, he was talking about something, he said, the people that were bombing over there, God loves them too. Mm-hmm. And that like, I had never heard, and I wanted all I could get of him and in different, just started listening to different things and reading different things and things that were freeing and like if you're, I believe that if my religion causes me to love and expand, it's good theology, and if it causes me to be hateful towards other people, it's
not.
Probably needs to be looked at.
Yeah, you're right about that. I think that I'd been thinking about that some this week, or maybe it was last week on that long ride home, 2,500 miles from. I agreed to ride with Dan home. He drove out there by himself. He took some furniture to Jonna and her new husband, and I agreed to ride home with him. And I don't know what I was thinking when I did that, but 2,500 miles in a pickup truck is a long way. You know that in 3 days? That's a lot of miles each day. So I had plenty of time for contemplation and thinking about a lot of things, but I was thinking about exactly what you just said, and that is bad theology. And bad theology is anything that teaches you fear or hate or worry. And that's some pretty bad theology right there. And it's really easy to decide from then. You don't have to have a list of 100 questions. You can just look at something and say, is this good theology? I don't want to interrupt him, but I do have something to say. I was telling the board members that I had a dream the other night, and it was so vivid. When I woke up, I remembered it so well that I went in and I wrote some things down. I dreamed that I was standing in the corner over there watching the service, and I was sort of invisible, I guess, or I felt invisible. Must have been just my spirit was here. We had the regular musicians and a full crowd. And I was standing there and recognized something that is really important, and that is that the words came to me that we are an unknown jewel here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast because of what we offer. We offer a concert every Sunday. We offer fellowship with like-minded people, and you can't find that many places. We have a place here where people come together for fellowship, for love, for learning, for spiritual growth. And you have people here that want to hold your hand and grow with you. That's so important, that fellowship that we have here. And I know you have fellowship with your other friends and with your jobs and whatever, but what we have here is, just like I said, it's a jewel. Right here, little known jewel, right here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And we're so pleased to have it. We're so pleased for someone like Keith that wants to come and share and be part of it and meet 3 new people every Sunday. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful?
It is.
Well, I'm certainly glad that you found unity. And I wanted to ask you about your work life. And do you have opportunities to use the principles that we teach here? Do you have opportunities to use those during the day while you're working, your customers, your coworkers?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anytime you're in like a customer service role, there's all kind of different people, and sometimes you connect with them and enjoy chatting with them, and sometimes they're challenging, and you use the principles to not react and respond in a healthy way, and try to smooth over whatever issues they're having. And some days you have a bad day, and you use gratitude to kind of turn my mental state around. And I say it's all day, every day. You put this stuff to practice.
Observe that the 12 steps are very similar to what we teach here, aren't they?
Absolutely. I think Bill Wilson was influenced by the New Thought people, Emmett Fox and some others, from what I know of AA history.
Do you still attend the meetings? Or
Yeah, I've got a couple that I try not to miss, and they're a blessing.
Okay. Well, that's great. And then what about your extended family? Your parents still alive?
My mom passed a few years ago, and my dad is still alive. I wish I saw him more than what I do, but we haven't been able to make a trip up there.
That's in Alabama?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I know Jennifer has a son and a daughter.
We have a beautiful family. I have wonderful in-laws and wonderful stepchildren that I consider my own.
Well, you're a jewel yourself. I tell you, I just love talking to you, and I love hearing about your life and all the things that you've accomplished. And more than anything, I think what I love about it is just your positive attitude.
Well, it wasn't always that way.
It wasn't.
Jen can tell you.
When it wasn't always that way, when did it change?
I have struggled. I've really struggled. I would say when we got back down here and committed to living a different life and putting the past behind us and just committed to this. It's been great.
Well, we're certainly grateful for you. We're grateful for Jennifer. I'm grateful that we had those weeks together, the classes that we attended together. It turned out with the Unity Foundations class that I held a meeting on Saturday mornings with those in the class on Zoom. And we just really enjoyed each and every Saturday morning. It was something I looked forward to every week, and I got to know him and Jennifer and their 2 dogs.
Yeah.
That was delightful. And Christy and Tammy and some of the others that attended, and Julie Jules. And we just really had a good time, learned a lot about each other, and that's what fellowship is about, and that's what we're doing that's the reason for this summer, is that we recognize that we don't have a whole lot going on right now. We do know that congregants are busy. You have a lot going on in your lives. You leave here and you've got a lot of family responsibilities or work or whatever is going on in your lives. And so we want to deepen and enrich the time that we share together. And one way to do that is to get to know a little bit more about each other than you would find out normally, just having a little chat after church and then running home. So did you have anything else you wanted to share, Keith? Or
No, I've just been very grateful for this opportunity, and the ones that we've heard. I'm always grateful for the chance to get to know y'all better.
Oh.
And so I've really enjoyed this.
Well, we are glad to get to know you better too. Thank you for doing this. We appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity.